In this video, we're going to be talking about 3 ways that you can become smarter. I get these questions from YouTube subscribers and viewers, a little bit from my blog readers, but more so from YouTube. So here's the good news. You can become smarter, and this is something I'm asked a lot. I guess I'm perceived to be somewhat smart, at least. I don't think I'm a genius, but perhaps you guys want some tips from me on this. Now, why do you want to be smart? Well, I don't have to go into detail. Everyone kind of wants to be smarter, or at least perceived as smarter. Some people are insecure about it. Men and women want someone who's smart, especially when they're looking to settle down and marry. They're looking for smart people, and a lot of people are insecure about this because the school system made them think that they're dumb because they didn't get good grades. And that leads us to the first big tip, which is to understand that just because you're not good in school doesn't mean that you're not smart. Intelligence is much more than just IQ and your grades in school. In fact, there's plenty of people who get B's and C's in school who end up becoming very wealthy, effective business owners or business managers. And it just goes to show that the grading system in education isn't perfect. It's far from perfect, and it only teaches a small segment of that. Not saying that's not correlated. There's definitely some level of correlation, about 0.7, 0.8% correlation with that IQ. But still, there's emotional intelligence, there's practical intelligence, there's social intelligence, and these are all areas that everyone can improve upon and work on, even just, regular wisdom. That brings us to tip number 2. And so now you understand that, hey, maybe I am pretty smart already and I don't know it. Maybe I'm actually pretty gifted socially and emotionally, and that's why I still got girls even though I wasn't a straight A student by any means. So now you're feeling a bit more confident. Well, how can I improve or shore up all those areas I'm weak at? Well, learn, read books, listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos, read articles. Basically, 95% of the reasons anyone perceives me as smart online have to do with stuff I've learned rather than stuff I was born out of the womb with. Think about it. Everything I talk about, everything you've heard me talk about in a podcast or a YouTube video is because I read it in a book, or I learned it from someone I met, or something I consumed. This wasn't just all in my head initially. When I mentioned stuff like how Warren Buffett uses a circle of competence for investing, that's because I learned it somewhere. So you just have to go out there and learn about these things and you'll get smarter. And that's about finding ways that you enjoy learning. For me personally, I love to just put on an audiobook and do other stuff. And sometimes I only absorb 50% of that book. But it's so easy for me. There's no friction involved. And it's kind of fun because I'm learning about something that I actually kind of enjoy. And I get to do other cool stuff like play golf, or actually I don't like golf, but play mini golf and work out and listen to a book. I like to drive a lot and listen, so that's another way. So find what works for you. Maybe it's YouTube videos. I used to play YouTube videos at 2 times speed while playing video games like League of Legends. So that was how I did it. Find what works for you. Find what you enjoy learning about, and just diving really deep and getting good at it. It partially helps to do stuff you enjoy, but sometimes you kind of have to, pick things that other people enjoy too. Because if you're learning about some ridiculous niche topic that no one really cares about, the mechanisms for speed running through Mario retro video games, and you're trying to become more intelligent to impress a lady, she probably doesn't care about that stuff 9 times out of 10. So sometimes it's good to choose more broader topics, at least initially. So maybe that's just why, maybe that's just biology or physics, or it doesn't have to be all these nerdy topics. It could be something sociable too, people love sports, so you can go into why certain sports teams succeed versus fail. A very broad topic that I love to talk about and is applicable to a lot of people is why people succeed or fail. That's why I do personal development, and I've studied it deeply, so I can talk about grit, I can talk about persistence, and I can dive into the science of these. And most people want to succeed, so that's very broad in a sense and interesting to a lot of people. So that's tip number 2. And then tip number 3 is work on your emotional and social intelligence too. Now, for some people, you're already pretty good at this. That's why you got girls in high school when you didn't do well in school. Others, the more these are probably more of my subscribers. They're the people who did well in school but still didn't get girls, and that's an area of intelligence you have to shore up. So for me specifically, that's an area I need to work on. I actually took an emotional intelligence test, and I'm actually not too bad at it. I scored in the 95th percentile, but that's really darn high, but I don't really trust that. It was a thorough survey. It took like an hour to complete the test, so apparently I'm already good in the emotional intelligence, but I don't think so, because there's so much awkward situations I get into with girls. So basically, emotional and social intelligence involves being smart in social situations and being able to conversate well and navigate and manage in a variety of situations and understanding other people's moods. So that just takes a lot of practice. Sometimes it takes coaching. I usually get my coaching for free from my job. I ask my managers and higher ups for advice and feedback when I pose them situations where I've interacted with people, but it could be with just anyone who's socially skilled. So that's another way. That's a very underrated form of intelligence that everyone's scanning for on a subconscious level, and people don't realize this when they're looking at how to be smart. So that's something you can work on for sure, and that's another thing about it is it's something that's easily improvable. And a huge part of that's empathy. So I also do a lot of empathy exercises to improve that. So I'll see a person sitting or standing there in a situation. It could be a casual situation or a tense situation. And then I just think, well, what do I think he or she is thinking now and feeling, and what is he or she motivated by? And then sometimes I get the chance of asking later and just like figuring out if I was right or wrong, and then figuring out why. So that's helped a lot. So those are 3 tips. That's all you need. 3 simple tips for actually becoming smarter and being perceived as smarter. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Let me know if you have questions.